Good evening, all. Hopefully, you're with us. Hopefully, we're live to you, and hopefully, you can hear us. As always, please let me know that you can hear us and you can see us. And if you're with us, please say hello. It's always very nerve wracking to know if we've actually got this working. And being honest with you, we usually start early, so in case these problems happen. Today, we've just had a 5-minute panic that we couldn't get any microphones to work at all on our live on Facebook. And it helps, all I can tell you, it helps as if you put the right little pluggy thing in the right hole. We'd put it into the headphones hole and not the microphone hole. What we like, eh? It's what happens when we change things about. We go and create brand new problems that we didn't even know existed. So glad to be with you all. Lovely to be here this evening. Very excited about tonight. Genuinely, this collection, I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you. So if you don't already know, if you haven't already seen, we have a brand new collection to share with you this evening. So tonight is one of those, we should come up with a new name for these really, because of course we have our Thursday night now as every Thursday at 7 p.m. here on Facebook. But 1 in 4, usually on average, we bring you a brand new launch. So they're slightly different to the other 3, because on the other 3 we ask you any questions you've got, anything we can help you with, any sort of things you want us to cover, and we do a few random demos. But on these ones, we literally get to delve right in and show you the brand new collection, give you some hopefully sneaky peeks at some samples, show you a little bit of how the products work, maybe even do a demo or so if we can do. So tonight we've got loads to get through, and I'm always conscious of taking up your evenings, so I don't want to be here forever, for your sake, not mine. But we've got a lot to get on with. But let's have a few hellos, because I can see it's clicking up on the side here, and I don't like you to sort of come in and not be recognised as being with us, because I always appreciate that you give up your time to be here. So it's nice to make sure that we know you're here. So evening, Maureen. Hello, Kim. Hello, Sharon. Sharon, your samples have literally, I haven't been in the house many minutes, but your samples arrived while I was out, and we've got them to share with everybody this evening. Some of them, not all of them. Can't show you everything today, but we'll show you lots of Sharons. Of course, we've had, I go off on a tangent. I said hello to 3 people, but we've done a bit of a collection route tonight on the way home, and we've been past lots of our DT members and collected genuinely, and I honestly mean this, and if you're watching DT, genuinely, the samples you've created for this collection, mind-blowing, truly brilliant. And I think everyone will agree with that when we get on to looking at the samples shortly. And I can see you've really enjoyed this collection, and I think everyone's going to, because it's such a fun one to work with. So, hello Diane, hello Alison Smith, our glue lady here. I love the fact you've now adopted your name as Glue Lady, but it is good. It's helpful for me, who's got a terrible memory, but it is lovely to have you here with us. Good evening, Pippa. Evening, Angie. Good evening, Deborah. Zoe's with us. That's lovely. Hello, Sheila. Hello, Marion. Evening, Judy from Colorado. Evening, Rose. Congratulations on winning your prize earlier today. Hope you're enjoying your little shopping spree going on there. Evening, Lynn. Hello, Marsha. Hello. There's loads of you here this evening. That's lovely to see. Marsha's with us, and it's clicked, and I've lost you all. Where are you? Sue's here. Wendy's here. Oh, it's lovely. I'm so pleased you're here with us. Thank you. But I'm going to stop reading them, because the last thing you want to do is spend the whole evening looking at my left ear, which really isn't a lot of fun, is it? Now, of course, this evening we have got Peter with us. Say hello, Peter.
Hello, all.
Now, I could let you into a little sneaky peek of something else kind of daft. You're going to have to tune in probably next week, maybe the week after. Probably the week after, we'll have to have a bit of a Christmas evening, maybe. And Pete has bought today himself a very daft hat that is genuinely worth tuning in for. So a couple of weeks, we'll tell you that we'll do a Christmas sort of celebration evening on our Thursday night.
I don't remember to agreeing to this.
You bought the hat for a reason. It's only fair we put you in it and sort of laugh. But I too will wear a hat, so we're not, you know, we're not just going to pick on poor Pete, however tempting. We'll all play along and maybe sort of celebrate the Christmas spirit together. So I hope you're all well anyway. So this evening we have, that was a bit disjointed, wasn't it? But this evening, I'm going to tell you before I forget, this evening we are going to try and do a demo, at least one demo, and we do want to give that away as we always do. Now, usually our questions are somehow related to what's going on in our world. So the random question this evening is, just before we went live, I said to Pete, I really fancy a cup of tea and some biscuits to dunk. and we raided the cupboards and found we had very little biscuits, and then I ended up dribbling tea all down me, so don't look too closely, but too late to iron anything new, so tea stains and all are here tonight. And it got us thinking, what's your favourite biscuit? So whether you dunk them or you don't, another part of the discussion here, do you dunk or don't you? Personally do like a dunk depending on the biscuit. But yeah, let us know in the comments what's your favourite biscuit, and Pete will pick one lucky winner to win whatever we create this evening. How's that sound? Fair? Good. Okay, so then let's get sharing with you our brand new collection, because this one is really, really cool. Or I think it's really cool. You're going to have to let me know what you think of it. So we're going to start off, and although we've planned this out, Pete, I haven't got, oh, they're up there. I've hid them. I've hid the collection out of sight. That's not very clever, is it? Is that the collection? That is the collection. Here it is. So I'm going to do this slightly differently tonight. And I think we did this last time, and I found it worked slightly better. I've got loads of examples to share with you, literally hundreds of examples to share with you. But before we go off and show you loads of examples, what I thought we would do is just quickly look through the collection and explain it to you, and then we'll go through some samples. Because of this collection, more than any other collection we've bought you, to me, it all works together. It's a bit like Lego. Everything's going to fit, everything's going to link. And because of that, I think if we show you one die and then show you the cards, you're going to see all of the other bits and wonder where they've come from. So we're going to do it slightly different this evening. So let's take you into the collection. So I'm not going to show you all of it just yet. Let's start off with this one. So this one is our Rippled Blooms die set. Now I'm going to try and bring this up so you can see it brilliantly. This is a one die panel. So you know I like to do this when we bring you dies that are all going to work together, and that you're going to need to cut them all. So we might as well put them on one plate, and it's going to save you losing any bits and trying to find them. I also genuinely believe that you save money because of you would never place your dies this close if you were going to send them for a machine. But yet if we put them out on a plate like this for you, you can get much better value for money in cutting. You're going to get more value out of your cardstock. So we've got our Rippled Blooms die set. Now this is one die that's going to create all of that for you. When it goes through, not only will it cut, it will also, there we go, hopefully you can see these, it's also going to deboss for you. So you're going to get that beautiful pattern running throughout your leaves or your petals and all of the centres to your flowers. Now the bit I haven't told you, see, I'm getting excited and I ain't really doing my job very well, am I? So please no letter of complaints. If you do send letters of complaints, we just forward them on to Pete, and that's his problem. So, you know, just write them to Pete. I've got a complaint. Where are you going to buy this? When's this coming out? That's the vital bit, isn't it? So this is a sneaky peek tonight. You can't purchase this yet. It comes out on Tuesday. It will be exclusive to Highlight Crafts on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then on Thursday, it will be available at our stockists that wish to come on board with this collection. I think I told you this before. Many craft companies don't really bring stuff out in December, especially as we move into December. This is a bit of an experiment for us. We've tried to bring you a slightly smaller collection than we normally bring you, but a mighty collection, one that we feel is truly essential. So hopefully you're all going to come on board with that, stockist wide and yourselves as well. And we'll see how it works. And if it does well, then next year we'll have another collection in December. And if it doesn't, we'll do like several other brands and sort of just go quiet through December and pick up back again in January. But we've got so much planned to bring you. We don't really want to admit it's Christmas and slow down, which probably sounds quite silly, but there's lots to sort of come through in the next few months, and we've got a lot to share with you. So Highlight Crafts on Tuesday, there's going to be a 2-hour launch show for this, which is 9 AM and 10 AM, so 2 hours straight back to back, and we will delve right into this collection. We'll bring you more inspiration, we'll show you more samples. I'm back on at 1 on Highlight Crafts, but it will be with the tile collection, so we'll be bringing you more inspiration from that release as well. We like to try and bring you a couple of different sort of bits when we do shows or highlights, so that you get to see different pieces come together. And there is certain crossovers between this collection and that collection, so it will kind of come together in some ways as well, which is lovely for you to know and sort of pre-plan. So as I say, Tuesday you can purchase this on Highlight Crafts. Thursday it will become available from all of our stockists. As always, stockists, if you are with us this evening, I know that this is a bit cheeky because we can't come on and purchase it this evening like we normally tell people to, because it's not yet out. But there are going to be card colours and texture base and mirror cards and all of that lot. So if we've got any of our stockists who have joined us this evening for a sneaky peek, pop a link to your website in the comments so that everyone can see that you're one of our stockists. And if this is a collection, and I know you've only seen one bit of it and I'm not stopped waffling, but if this is a collection that you're going to be stocking, then of course let us know in the comments as well that this is one you're planning to be having as of next Thursday. So then let's go back to where we was. Let's have a little look. So we had a look at the Rippled Blooms flower set, didn't we? So that's the first part of this. Now this collection, and I'm going to skip forward slightly, this is kind of similar to when we bought you the Cosmos collection. Do you remember this one, the big background panel, where we had the flowers that went on top of it? I picked a really bad example because we haven't laid the flowers on top of this one. But this was our square Cosmos set. And it worked that you had a flower and you had a panel and you could build up on top of it. That has been such a popular concept for us. We wanted to do it again, but we want to do it this time with an oval. So we have brought forward the Rippled Bloom Floral, flower, I'm going to call it flower, floral panel is the official name, but flower, and created our lovely, beautiful oval with this. Now, I genuinely think this is the prettiest die we have yet created. It is so ornate, it is so entwined. The deboss effect that you're going to get on the petals is exactly the same as what you're going to get in the flowers. On top of that, you've got an outside separate circle and, or oval, sorry, outside separate oval, and you've got a separate scallop. So you've got the opportunity to mat and layer, cut in, sink in, create loads of different variations with this. You've then got 4 coordinating corners that, again, like we like to do with you, we've brought you outside edges that are separate to the main panels. So you've got the choice whether you put the two together to cut them out and layer them, cut them into your card, etc. Loads of different options with that. Now with our flower set, you're going to pretty much spot this quite quickly, I should imagine. We've got larger flowers on the flower set. So if you want to use that as a standalone item, you absolutely can do. But if you want to layer them on top of this background panel, then that's going to work for you as well. Just to give you a little idea of the board, because I think actually when you start to see this cut and you can see that deboss work on here, you're going to see why I think this is one of our prettiest designs we've brought you to date. This, of course, is using the outside oval to cut it out as a panel. This one's sharing with you just the solid oval with the scallop. This one's bringing the two together so that you've got that matte layer. Then, of course, you've got it cut into the scallop if you prefer, and you've got the flat one that you could see to make the sort of matte to go under it. Then, of course, you've got the corners. So whether you choose to use them as solid backgrounds, whether you choose to use them with the filigree pieces and cut them out and layer them, they're all choices you're going to be able to play around with. And one of the bits I love with this, so this is a very similar size to the Elegant Butterfly die set that we bought you with the tile collection. So again, we're trying to build out a bit of a family here, size and proportions, because you might wish to use that lovely butterfly on one panel of a trio card, and then this one, and then maybe another one. So if we keep them all similar sizes and proportions, you're going to have that ability to build them through books and journals and bits like that, or make shaped cards out of them. So lots of ways you're going to be able to play with this one. But the bit I do love with this is how you can use it in any direction. It doesn't matter whether we're looking at this as a landscape, a diagonal, a portrait, that panel can work in any way you want it to. Where with the Elegant Butterfly one, the butterfly is sort of meant that you had to use it as a portrait. So this one's got a little bit more freedom to it, maybe. Then on top of this, just like we did when we bought you our wonderful Cosmos die set, we are also going to bring you a stencil set. And this opens up so many different options for you. We're going to delve into this so you can see it, because I always feel it's tricky when we look at it in a packet because you can't really see what we're looking at. So in here, you have got, as always, if we feel that they're worth you having, we will give you the negative pieces. So these are great for using as mini masks. So if you want to die cut that oval and then lay these over the top and then mist to create a colour over the rest of the veins and bits, you're going to have that ability to do it. You've then, of course, got your 2 different stencils. So these will come together for you. This one is the one which gives you all of the flowers. So this will match up perfectly with the die set. And you can lay that over the top of the die and you can colour these pieces if you wish to. You can mist over them. You can add texture paste to the top of the die. Then you've got your filigree panel. So exactly the same as your actual die set here. Everything is on this for you to go in, add colour and then add a die on top of it. Or of course you can use the 2 together and you can come in and colour over the top of the flowers to create 2 different effects. You'll also spot that you've got the corner details in this one as well. So the corners are there for you so that everything is going to coordinate for you and it's all going to match up perfectly if you want it to. So you've got your 2 different stencils there with positives and negatives that are all going to come together. Now, one bit I did want to point out, and this one's one that I've inked, so you might see that round here, but you've got a scalloped edge running around here. That's the same scallop you're going to get within the die set. So again, when you've cut this out, if you want to take your panel and stencil onto it, or you wish to take the actual filigree die and stencil onto it, that's going to match up perfectly. So you can bring this over, you can lay that over the top, and then when you do, if you get it the right way round, should we try and line it the right way round, it will all match up and you can then colour through it. So of course your die is separate, so you can move that if you need to coordinate, but it gives you that perfect guide to help you know that everything is centralised and everything is going to work for you. So we'll give them bits to Pete to put back into the packet and we'll move on to the next item. Now, of course, with your stencils, you can, of course, not only stencil with them, we can ink and we can letterpress with them. We can also emboss them as well. So you might choose to emboss those panels and then add the dies on top in some form. You might even wish to just take the flowers, make up some borders and bits and emboss them. So loads of ways we can use the stencils, even separate from the rest of the collection. So you might wish to just come in and cherry pick bits and bobs from it, but it will all work together for you. Pete, if we have any questions, just cut me off because I will waffle for hours because we've got lots to get through. But if anyone asks any questions, please don't be shy and let me know.
Yeah, Michael just asked.
Hello, Michael.
Any pictures of the on the website of what's coming out soon? But that'll be
no.
added shortly.
This is your picture on the website. This is your sneaky peek. This is us here giving you everything or mostly everything. Picture-wise on the website, that will go live on the date launches. So we where we're here, we can tell you what's going on and why we're sneaky peeking it and when you can get it. If we just put it on the website, it gets a little bit more confusing because people then think it's going to be everywhere and it isn't. So we'll launch it on the website on Thursday. Of course, you're going to be seeing sneaky peeks and pictures on the Facebook page as well. And of course, something else, honestly, I should be sacked today. I'm doing a terrible job at this. Something else I haven't mentioned for you is we've opened a new group. I know lots of you are already in our group. I'm well impressed that we've got over 200 members already. But we launched a brand new group yesterday morning at about 11. And it's called Created with Jamie Rodgers Crafts. And this is your space. We will be there, I will be there, the DT will be there, and we will come in and we will share with you what's going on and show you different bits to what we show you on the main page, which is where you're watching this video today. But the group is really your hub. It's your space. It's where you can take your creations that you've made with our products and you can share them with us. And this is really important that you know that's what that's there for. And we want you to be able to have an open forum to talk to us, ask us advice, share with us your inspiration, and hopefully help inspire each other, build a community, and take inspiration from what I'm creating, what the DT are creating. We've got lots of plans for that group, so if you're not already a member of it, do pop on over. When I've come off of this, I will put a link onto the actual video as well, so that if you can't find it or you can't see it, then there'll be a link. But it's called Created with Jamie Rodgers Crafts. Zoe or Ian or Lynn or Sharon, somebody might beat me to it and put the link in the comments if they're with us and watching. That would be really handy, guys, if you don't mind. I should have thought to ask somebody to do it, but totally forgot. But there is a lovely group and it's going to be a really lovely little community that you can share and hopefully, as I say, inspire each other. We've got lots of plans for competitions and bits. Don't want to tell you too much, but lots of things that will hopefully go on in there shortly. So back to it before I go off on too many different tangents. This is gorgeous. This is our entwined leaves. I am so pleased with how these have come out. And I hope you're going to fall in love with these as much as I do or have. These are, of course, inspired by the main panel again. So all of the sort of fretwork you're seeing come through in this main panel, we've taken inspiration from that. We've created a complete die set working with this. This is a one die set, similar to what we do with the flowers, but there is actually 6 pieces, if I remember rightly. 7 pieces. I always get that wrong. 7 pieces that will actually come out of this and give you your 7 different filigree panels that you can go in, or filigree branches actually, not panels, but filigree branches that you can bring in and build up with your flowers, with the rest of your collection. So straight away, hopefully you can see why I'm saying to you that this collection works so well together. And you can take it off in so many different tangents, but already you're seeing a great start to where we're going with this. So there's more to this collection. That's not everything. Let's bring in this one. So I also wanted to start building a bit of a library of essential dyes, which are going to come out with this collection, but it's so much bigger than this collection. So this is our lattice oval. Now again, you're going to spot this. In this oval, we have give you the scalloped edge. In this oval, we have give you the postage edge. In the scalloped oval that come with the elegant butterfly, we gave you the fluted edge. So we're giving you different edges with each one. More of that will come clear shortly, but different outside edge, but it is a separate edge. So you don't have to use the postage edge if you don't want to, and we'll cover that in more detail in a second. Then you've got 4 corners again with different inside and outside panels. So you can take those, you can cut them together, you can cut them out, you can leave them as solids, you know all of the options, but it gives you loads of options. Now I'm going to tease you even further than I normally would here, and I'm going to tell you that this is going to be a great base to work with what we bring out in January, in February, and maybe April. So, and I mean this because it's a lattice, and I love a lattice. And I feel if we bring you things like this, you can add on to every theme, every occasion that you're going to come across for next year, the year after that, and it's all going to work because a lattice is such a generalized idea. Now we can drop this if we want to, we can cut into this if we want to, we could paper piece the diamonds back into this if you want to. Of course, you've then got your solid backing plates to put under it as well if you wish to. So there's just so many ways you're going to be able to work with this. And again, it could be portrait, it could be landscape, it can be any direction you want it to be. But it is, of course, the perfect backing to go with our flowers and our leaves to build up on top of them. So corners just as solid, corners with cut-ins, postage stamp oval just as a postage stamp oval, and then of course bringing the 2 main panels together to create this effect. So as you can see, you could really lattice your card up by having the corners and the panel, or you might wish to break away and do something slightly different with them. These would be great to stamp on, ink on, emboss, stencil on maybe with something that you're going to put into the middle of this panel as well, built up. You know, loads of ways you're going to be able to play with them. So as a collection goes, this is your sort of floral bloom collection as such in my mind. They're your 4 main components, of course, with your stencil set coming together to build up that release. And this is what I said, it's a slightly smaller release than we've been doing. We're conscious it's Christmas. We know that, you know, it's December, but it might be a nice little collection that you're going to get hold of to work with for next year and way after then as well. But there is more. We couldn't leave you there. We wanted to bring you more, so there is more.
Sorry, Jake, can we just check on the size of the larger die, please? A couple of questions.
Go on then.
Sharon's replied just to say it will fit on an A5, but could you give us the measurements of the larger die?
Oh, I should have my new ruler that I bought earlier, shouldn't I? Where's my new rule?
It's still in my shopping bag.
Is it still in your shopping bag, is it? I can tell you off the packaging, the largest die is 5.1 inches by 6.8 inches. If we are looking at, I'll show you instead of the top of my head, this one here. So that one is 5.1 by 6.8. If you prefer centimetres, it is 13.1 by 17.3 centimetres. And this one's pretty much the same by memory. So yeah, 5.1 by 6.7, and then centimetres is 12.9 by 17. Yeah, 12.9 by 17.2. Can't even read anymore, honestly, the mind's gone. So yeah, that gives you the sort of size and scope of these. Could I have, Pete, the elegant butterfly oval? You've got one, I believe, under that tray, just so I can show you how, you know, I know some of you have already got hold of that one. It's going to give you a size guide and sort of share with you. And if you haven't seen that one, it might be nice for you to see it. This is what I mean about them all working together. So you've got your 3 different options, and this is something that's actually kind of cool as well. We've put the same lattice into the middle of this panel as what you're going to get on this panel. So I know I keep talking about this, and I'll show you some examples shortly of similar ideas, but if you're going to make multi-fold cards, you want that to be the front of your card, then you want an insert that's going to match, that you can then just put an oval panel or a shaped panel over and write your message on. It's so nice to have that correspond between them. And then of course your corners are going to come in really nicely if you don't want to use your butterfly corners to match in that lattice to go in with this lattice in the middle. So we really do try and bring forward panels and pieces and sizes so everything can coordinate together throughout the collections for you. So that one's already available. That one come out with the tile collection. Again, it'll be back on Highlight Crafts on Tuesday. That'll be the later show, 1 o'clock, but it is already available, that one. But it is just building kind of on the theme and the family that we started with that one. Was there another question, Pete, before I move?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Lovely. Mr. Bancroft says hello.
Oh, good evening, Dan. Lovely to have
Reckons
you with us.
your leaves look delish.
Delicious leaves. We like that. Delicious leaves, yeah. We could have called them that, couldn't we, really? Okay, so let's have a little look then. Let's move on to our next bit. So there is more to this family. And we're going to cover a couple of bits I've told you are coming. So we told you when we brought out the first 5 of our words that there would be more. And I've told you previously there's another 15 coming. It's time to bring another 5 to the family. So today we are bringing you birthday wishes, which if you've not seen these before, you get a word and then you get a double stacked background panel to go with them. Because I always find it really frustrating trying to glue on delicate words. And I always love having panels to go with them and find it really frustrating if I haven't got the right size panels. So what we're doing is we're building a library of interchangeable panels. So it doesn't matter which words you purchase, they'll be able to play and work between the different sets. So you've got birthday wishes, which is coming with this kind of label-esque looking one. Then we've got get well soon, which comes with this one, which I really like because if you use it as a stopper for an easel, it's got that sort of, you know, that little dip that you get in your lips. What do they call that? It's got a name, isn't it? The little V that you get in the top of it. I don't think it's a crescent. I'm sure it's got a name, like a Cupid's. Call it a Cupid something, don't they, when the V is really pronounced?
Help us out.
Yeah, help us out in the comments. Come on, guys. You know that we're a bit silly and we forget things.
Yeah.
So you've got your get well soon. It's going to come with a double stack of that one. Then we go on to happy retirement. So again, double stack with this one, opposite to our sort of Cupid's lip style here. We've got the point coming out the top of it. This reminds me of the Jetsons. I've got no idea why, but it's kind of a cool one to have. Then we have got Happy Valentine's Day. So of course, we're in December. We're looking forward to next year's events and reasons we're going to be crafting. Valentine's isn't far away. I also really like the arrow aspect to this. So you've got the double stack arrow. As a scrapbooker and a journaler, I think this is really cool to be able to sort of point to the people in the photos and add on what you want to say, that little bit of journaling, that little name, maybe the date. And of course, with a die like this, you can move the die about to cut it down shorter. You could trim the point smaller if you want to. It gives you more options in how you're going to play around with it. And then lastly, we've got Best Wishes. So Best Wishes is one of the smaller ones in size and scope. And then you've got your double stack to go behind it. So Best Wishes, Happy Valentine's Day, Happy Retirement, Get Well Soon, and Birthday Wishes. And I'm going to try and do this by memory, but they're going to add on to the collection that's already available, which is something along the lines of Happy Halloween, Happy Christmas. Come on, only 3 more to go.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, you're better at this than I am.
Thinking of you.
I'm thinking of you.
Yeah.
There you go. Pete, top marks. I got 2 out of 5. That's terrible.
What do you think it's called? Cupid's bow?
Cupid's bow? Yeah, it's a Cupid something, isn't it? I know. Thank you for helping us, though. Thank you, Marsha. Honestly, it's a team effort, this. Then we move on to our next new set. And again, we're building on your libraries. We've been telling you these are coming. We don't lie to you. When we tell you something's coming, it is. And we're doing this a little bit quicker than we possibly should. But we're bringing you the next shape in our nested dies. Now, you lot are loving these and you're loving the creativity they bring to you because we have, again, and I'm going to show you them in this way before we talk about the boards too much. We're bringing you 5 oval die sets. Now, you're going to know this if you've been watching any of our lives or any of our shows, wherever I've been, go on and on about this, but I'm going to cover it again for you in case they're new to you. There's 2 sets, scallop edge pierced ovals and decal edge stitch ovals. These ones come with separate edges. So in the scallop set, you've got a pierced line. In the decal set, you've got a stitch line. This is really cool because these lines can come out and be used between any of the 5 sets. And then, of course, because we're talking about the same scope and same proportions, we can yo-yo these throughout the different sizes. So maybe you want to use a postage stamp edge, but you want to put a plain edge in the middle of it, you can do. Maybe you want to bring these in and you want to use them with the rectangles that we brought out in our last release. So again, these fit, and I'll show you this more when we get to play with them, I promise, but they fit perfectly within the outside. So if you want to put the oval in the middle of the rectangle, that really works brilliantly. I'll show you some cards in a minute, I promise. I'm waffling, but they work great. 5 different versions. You've got your plain ones. We've then got our fluted edge ovals. We've got the postage edge ovals. Then we move on to our scalloped with our pierced. and our decal with our stitch, and they really do they open up so many options in the shape cards you can create, in the mats and layers you can create, the frames you can create. And as I keep saying, the more we build on this library, the more options you have available to you. Board wise, you can see these just to give you an idea. So in the plain one, there's 18 different dies. In the postage ones and the fluted ones, you're going to receive 8 different dies. So that's the board for the postage, and this is the board for the fluted, to give you just some ideas of how they're going to look for you and what they're going to create. And then lastly, let's bring in these two because they're going to show you that pierce and stitch detail. So don't forget, these are separate pierce and stitch lines. So it's down to you which ovals you put them into, which shapes you put them into. You can just take a pierce line and put it onto the front of your card and pierce that oval into the front of your A5 card and then create around that if you wish to. So many, many ways in which you're going to be able to build these up. So now we've shown you all of the goodies. So we've got our 5 different mats and layers collections in ovals, our 5 new sentiments, then of course the rippled bloom collection, which I seem to be losing bits of, but you've got your lattice, you've got your lovely floral panel, the rippled blooms, then your entwined leaves, or as Dan said, delicious leaves, and then lastly we've got our stencil, which I don't think Pete's given me back yet from packing. He's going to have to get the sack as well, I think, today. Honestly, I think we're both going to be sacked. Let's have a look. Has he got one? Well, you know it. You see it, didn't you? We'll show you the pieces. But you've got your matching stencils. Oh, you would have if I didn't connect the two together. So matching stencils to go with the release. So if you've got any questions about this, please let me know and we'll delve in and answer them for you. But in the meantime, I'm going to get Pete to start handing me some samples so I can share with you a little bit of inspiration on what you could be creating with this lot. Because we're half hour in and I haven't even shown you what you can make with it yet. So let's show you something that you can make quickly. We'll start off with the main panel because I think that's really lovely to see. And I'm not going to show you every sample that we've got available because obviously time-wise and of course ability in sharing with you. So this is what we mean about the flowers matching up perfectly and building up on top of that panel. So it's down to you. You don't have to be as 3D as this if you don't want to. You know, you can literally just cut them and lay them on in a different colour if you wish. The corners, of course, are separate, but I've chose to bring those in and I've put them in with one of the stitch lines and the scalloped rectangles. And this is what I mean about the ovals working really nicely with the rectangles. We've done this on purpose, and so I've brought them out one after the other in quite quick succession because they do work together so beautifully. Now I've got a bit carried away with doing these layered ones, so there's going to be a few of these you're going to see, but it's going to give you an idea on how you're going to be able to build them up and play with different colours and bring in your stencils, play around with your inks, play around with which corners you wish to be using. So of course these are our lattice corners. This time I've built these up and I've cut them out using the decal edge ovals. This time I've left it in the panel, that one I left it in the panel. So it just gives you ideas on how you're going to be able to choose whether you wish to build or leave flat and what levels you want to go to. Now this is absolutely incredible. Let's share this with you. And I'm gonna take you back to being forward on, I think. Sharon's done this on our DT. Now look at this as a card. If you imagine somebody's leaving your workplace, or it's a family birthday, a big birthday, and you want to add a couple of numbers on there, how cool is this to create these sort of hanging elements hidden within the ovals? So on the outside you've got the main panels, you've got the corners, you've got the flowers, you've got the leaves. On the inside you've got your hanging flowers and then your main panel in the middle there as well. Now this could be taken off and done in so many different colours, in so many different ways, but actually as a construction, I think that's really cool. And if you don't want it to be that big, just do one side of it. It doesn't have to be a double fronted card as such, a wardrobe card. It would work as a single, but it just works really nicely. So let's have a little look at this one. And this one is done by our lovely Lynn. How gorgeous is this one? Showing you the pretty in pink, the lovely sort of light green, bought in with our light blue. I've got loads of these to get through, so I'm going to try and speed up just a smidge so that you can see them. You're going to get to see these in photo form being teased on the different groups and pages, and of course you're going to get to see these on the shows as well. But it does give you a little guide as to what we can be doing. This is created with our inks, so our lovely metallic inks. I've bought the ink pad in and I've literally just taken it, rub this directly over the panel. So it's a black panel, just rubbed over with the brushed gold ink, and then I've created a very cool little easel card with my ovals to build up and actually create your card blanks from this collection as well. Another one to share with you here is a little wardrobe card. So I've cut it into the middle of the rectangle and then cut the rectangle in half, added the little sentiment in the middle of it. So again, and I'm going to skip to this one, don't be afraid to cut this down. It is quite a big panel, but I know some of us like to make smaller cards. Don't be afraid to go in and trim it to create smaller cards. Now there are loads here that I'm just going to give you a little flashes of as we go past them, because if not, we're going to be here forever. But it's sharing with you just a few ideas in how you're going to be able to layer those up and create with them. So I'll hand these ones off to Pete, and we're going to bring in some now with the stencil set, because this all works together. So let's show you some stencil ones. So this is, of course, your stencil set that we're looking at. So let's show you a couple of bits that you could be doing with this. So again, nice quick flashes here. This one's using our gemstones texture paste, being done over the top of one of our rectangle panels. This one here is done on one of our plain squares, and I've done the corners and I've chosen to use the middle and build it up. This one is doing some letter pressing with our metallic inks using the stencil and the die sets. And then again, you can see the pierced oval just being used on the background, being cut into the decollage rectangle. This one's actually been embossed because, if you know me, I love to emboss my stencils. So I've embossed this onto our what's the colour, Pete? Sea something blue, seashell blue. And then I've used elephant grey ink pad and I've rubbed it over the top of it to really tone it down and give it a bit of a distressed look. Really easy, really quick to do, but a really cool card to create. A bit more modern, maybe a bit more fresher. Then, of course, another little easel here. This one I think was done by Ian or Sharon. This one's done by Sharon. How cool is this? Creating the little oval easel that reminds me more of an Easter egg, which I really like as well, because of course Easter isn't a million miles away. And I think when we're talking about ovals, it's really nice to plan ahead a little bit as well and think of the occasions that are coming up.
A few people have suggested Easter eggs.
Have they? Brilliant. That's great, because that's what we need to do, isn't it? We need to think one step ahead on the seasons. So like we've got our Valentine's words coming out today. We do have an Easter coming soon, don't we?
We do.
Without telling you too much, but there is an Easter word coming soon. Of course, that's going to work nicely with this collection too. So again, another one here done by Ian. I love the way he's inked and built and created this one. Let's just try and, oh, this is cool. I can't not show you this one. So this one's done by Ian as well. And he's used the corners to make little feet. So this stands up and looks a little bit, our DT, we chat a lot in our DT. I'm trying to get this so you can see it. It stands brilliantly. But if I bring it down, hopefully you can see what I mean. It looks a bit like a Fabergé egg, doesn't it? How cool is that? So Ian's done some inking in the middle of his texture paste, but he's done his texture paste first, I would imagine, then laid on his stencil to do his flowers, and then done some inking over the top of that stencil. So you've got that two-tone effect. And this is why we bring you the stencils in two parts. Now, there are more cards, but I'm not going to tease you with all of them. We'll sort of show you more shortly, I promise. But it's nice to get an idea of what we can do. And I'm conscious I want to do some demos for you. Now, why Pete's handed in the next bit, this is something that is monumentally beautiful and created by our lovely Lynn Lewis, who of course is one of our DT members, as you all know. Lynn has a talent for making boxes. Lynn is the lovely person. What side is it? I'm getting my sides from now. Lynn is our lovely lady who made us our kaleidoscope box a little while ago. So she's getting a bit of a rep for the boxes. Ian, for instance, is our shaker card king. Lynn is becoming our box queen. So let's show you this lovely box. There we are, lovely. So on the top here, she has created the flowers. She's added in them, I'm going to call them the delicious leaves now. I think that's great. The delicious leaves, and she's put the lattice panel in the background. The lid, of course, has been created using all of the different bits and bobs. So we've got our sort of edge running around here, our postage style edge running around that. She's always very clever in hiding her joins, Lynn. She puts little pearls round. So although there's only going to be probably one or two joins between the different layers, by spreading the pearls out, it doesn't look like there's going to be a join. It sort of disguises it. And I think that's very clever and very cool. So she's built her lid. She's, of course, built the base to her box as well. And again, she's married up that sort of postage edge effect. And she's decorated around the side with our beautiful, beautiful leaves. And then added on the top every now and again just a flower here and there. And I think that works so beautifully, doesn't it? Isn't that a really gorgeous gift? And we often talk about this, don't we? You know, sometimes we don't always have the budget to spend a fortune on a gift for somebody, or we don't always know what to get them, or maybe we're just going to get them a gift card and a chocolate bar, or maybe we're looking to Easter and we know that they don't like Easter eggs, so instead we're going to get them something like this. We're going to put some tissue paper in there and fill it full of Ferrero Rocher eggs, Ferrero Rocher. They're just called Ferrero Rochers, aren't they? Yeah, I don't eat them, sorry. But just Ferrero Rochers, or maybe you want to put some mini eggs in there, or maybe you know somebody who, you know, it's coming up to Christmas and you want to do it in Christmas colours, or add poinsettias onto this instead, or, you know, like me, I often confess this, I'm a bit of a funny eater, so people sometimes struggle to know what sweets and bits to buy me. So I'll give you lots of hints and tips. No, not really. But it's nice to be able to give a gift box that you know they're going to really like instead of just one off the shelf. And this is a really cool way to sort of make your gift stand out and show somebody you really care. You all know this, don't you? We're crafters, we know what we're talking about. But it's just, to me, an impressive box that really is cool. And I'm so impressed with that. Have they all been telling us about their biscuits? Don't forget to tell us about your biscuits, by the way. I promise soon I'm going to stop showing you samples and we're going to make something and then we can give it away. And I'm going to waffle through. So while I'm showing you these, if you tell us what your favourite biscuits are, somebody will win whatever we make this evening. So it's only a little gift, but it's just a nice little gift to share with you. So these, of course, have been created with a lattice. You're seeing those lattice corners come together to make little frames. You're seeing those lattices working together here with the main background panel. Wendy's done one here where she's cut it down, which I thought was a really cool idea to turn it into a DL. And then this one I wanted to share with you because this is using both panels together. Might come across a little bit heavy on screen, but it really does look like we've got sort of a trellis work in the background and then the flowers are growing up it. And you could have easily cut through and cut off panels and created more of that sort of look and then added a sentiment or a butterfly in there if you prefer. But I just wanted to show you how well that looks to actually layer both of those together. So again, although they are, and I mentioned this when we looked at this, saying that it could be used for different things, bringing the two together does work really nicely. So let's move on to our next set of samples. Let's share with you just a few bits from the rippled blooms. So you're seeing lots of these layered, but actually bringing those in on their own. This is one of the cards I shared on our new group yesterday. So if you want to see this in more detail, pop on and out onto the new group, created with Jamie Rodgers Crafts. There's too many in my world. But this is just using Miri card and cutting into it, bringing in the leaves, bringing in the elegant butterflies from before, adding the little get well soon onto the corner, and then just a couple more because I'm conscious of time. So we'll yo-yo through these quickly. Another one here by Sharon. Love the way Sharon goes off into bright colours. I was saying to Ian earlier, I don't often use the yellow. I love yellow. I used to have a car this colour. I love yellow, but very rarely use it in my crafting. Another one here done by Ian. This is gorgeous. This one's done by Lynn. And then another one here by Wendy, just bringing in the pink and the green, which is really lovely. So let's hand these ones out. And then what have we got next, Petey? What one's next on our pile? Are we on to the leaves?
Your delicious leaves.
The delicious leaves. We're going to have to rename these, aren't we? Delicious leaves, thanks to Dan. So this one is our entwined leaves. So again, 7 different dies in this one set. Just sharing with you a couple of cards, showing you how you can bring them in to make up your corners. This one Ian's done where he's sort of built it around the oval. This is cool. So this one he's actually made the card blank out of the postage edge oval, folded it and then layered up. This looks like something I feel you'd see framed on a wall. I don't know why, but I think that's really pretty. Another one here with just a couple of leaves coming out the top of it. I think this one's Sharon. And then another one here. And I'm going to say, and I see this earlier, this was Ian, I think. I'm sure this one was Ian. I'm just showing you the leaves being put in around underneath the sort of sentiment panels as well. And the corners are really nice because he's used the stencil and inked through them. So then lastly, I think we've got a couple of samples to share with you using the different ovals. And this is just a bit of a quick guide really, because I feel with the ovals, of course you're seeing these in lots of the different ways being layered up underneath the panels with the lattices and the sort of entwined panels and bits. But these really do open up so many opportunities to build and construct. And it's not something I've done as much of with this collection yet. But I wanted to share some with you that the team have done. This one's rather cool. Pete hasn't seen this yet, I don't think. No. I don't know the best way to show it to you. This one's done by Ian. It reminds me of a princess's carriage. I don't know why I haven't chatted to you about this, but they remind me of the wheels and then the carriage, and I thought that was really cool. I think it'd make a really nice wedding card, and he's done it in such a cool way because these actually open. So you've got the two different panels in there, so you could add photos in there if it was like a celebratory card, maybe a wedding or invitation maybe. And then actually the card opens upon itself so that it stands brilliantly, but then has that sort of double face on look to it as well. And I just thought that was a really cool layout, all made from the ovals. And when you start looking at them as different panels and bringing them together to sort of anchor them down and give you them flat bases to stand on, the amount of options you're going to have in how to twist these and turn these and the layouts and the ways, I think you're going to have so much fun with these. They're going to come in time after time. Another bit I wanted to share, again, talking about doing smaller cards maybe, is creating that aperture using the ovals, focusing in on the actual filigree panel or the lattice panel, showing it as a smaller panel, and again using the ovals with the rectangles to create the frames. Speaking of which, when Pete came home and said I'd made this, he said, looks like a school photo frame, and it does, and that was what I was aiming for. But I've made a little frame here with the ovals. You can actually post your photos in the top there. It's all done inside the rectangles. Made a little stand on the back just so it stands up slightly on an angle, and then of course you've got your photos in there. Now these ovals, because if you've got so many sizes, they're going to work really nicely for making mats and layers to go on top of the background panels. They're also going to work really nicely for doing your smaller cards and creating frames for your albums. So lots of dinky cards I'm just sharing with you quickly here, but it's showing you how you can build those up to create different effects. And then this one's cool. This one's done by Lynn. So just because we're making small cards doesn't mean it has to actually be a small card. It can be small, you can post it in a small way, but let's make a bit of a reveal. Let's make a tri-fold card, bringing in the stencils, bringing in the gemstones texture paste, building up and creating a really cool sort of multi-fold card like that. I thought that was cool. And then of course, an oval isn't only for flowers. It can be used all year round. So Lynn's done this card sharing with you how you can use them on your stepper cards, how you can use them for your Christmas cards. Bought in the classic poinsettia, bought in the snowflake background, bought in the happy Christmas, bought in the winter foliage, really gone off on that sort of frosty, frozen feel. Oh, and I was going to stop showing you samples, but I've got to show you this one. This one is done by Wendy. Now, first of all, look how Wendy has created this really cool leatherette style look to her book using craft card and then bringing in our different ink pads. So she's really gone to town, she's crumpled it up, she makes a really cool look. And she's done this around a couple of card blanks. So of course, lattice, leaves, sentiments, stencils, stenciled background, photo corners coming in here to put your photos into the middle of it. Then you move through to the next pages, big open spaces for your photos, different corners coming through here. And then you turn over to the last page, embossed elements in the corners, big focal point, happy retirement set here, and then lines stamped with our pinstripe stamp set so people could sign their names and write on it. Thought that was a really cool little album project.
Lovely.
Creation. Thought that was epic. So I had to share that with you as well. So when I said at the beginning of this, I'm going to try and hand these all off to Pete.
Apparently your carriage, someone reckons there could be like Mickey's ears if you turn it up the other way.
Oh, let's give that a go. Let's see. Oh, there you go. You take these, Pete, for us.
Who was that? Kim Deere, I think it was.
So let's have a little flash. Yeah, that is very Mickey-esque, isn't it? That is a bit Mickey-esque. Yeah. Now, again, and we'll chat about this because we're talking about Mickey. The circles for the nested layer collection aren't a million miles away. They're next year, obviously, because we're December or whatever now. I say whatever because I've never got a clue where we are in the year. And I've told you all the way through, we was going to do squares, circles, ovals, rectangles. Circles are the one that's left. They will be coming. Then we will start teasing you about the ones that will follow because there are more in the family. But I tell you about the circles, A, because of Mickey Mouse, and B, because again, you might be looking at the rectangles and thinking, well, okay, I can cut ovals into them, but what about circles if I want to have more room at the bottom? Circles will be coming. And again, you might want the circles to go with the squares. I personally feel the circles go really well with the squares, and then the ovals go really well with the rectangles. So we had to, at some point, leave something kind of off the plate, but they're all coming. We'll have all of it, I promise. And there will be more as well, but I can't tell you any more. Pete already gave me a dirty look when I mentioned the circles, so I can't tell you any more today. I will get in trouble. But we're going to hand these bits back and let's have a little look. So I've been chatting for 50 minutes already and we haven't even made anything. That's shocking. Hopefully though you're all still with us and haven't fell asleep, and we'll start doing some demos. So of course, as I mentioned, let us know about your favourite biscuits or biscuit, and we will pick one winner. And I say we, Pete will pick a winner, and they can win whatever we make tonight, and we'll try and get at least one demo done before you all fall asleep. If you have any questions about this collection, then let us know, or any other questions in general, really, because I'll try and answer them for you.
Michael was just asking about what your angel policy was. Can he make and sell? Or
Of course you can, Michael. Absolutely. Our angel policy genuinely is as open as it can be, because we feel that it's important that you can make for charity. We know a lot of our lovely crafters make for charity, and I am not standing in the way of that. If you want to make for charity, brilliant. But equally, you need to cover the costs of the bits you're purchasing, and either putting a few pennies in the bank or maybe saving up for the next collection. Whether that's us or somebody else, irrelevant. It's about making you happy and making your supplies work for you, whether that's for charity, for friends, for sales, whatever it is you do with your crafty creations. To us, it's important that we allow you to do that. So there is a couple of little bits on there, but it's a very open and free policy for you to use and create as much as you want to. If you've got any questions, go to the Jamie Rodgers Crafts website, www.jamierogers.crafts.com, and on there you will see angel policy as one of the menu bar items. Give it a little click, have a little read. If you've got any questions, let us know. But genuinely, we want to work with you, or we want you to be able to make and create and sell as much as you want to. So when you hear of limitations of only make 50, make as many as you can possibly make, and get as many pennies in for you or charity, or of course for as many creations for your family as you want to, or friends. So then, this is the card that we're going to play with to begin with, because I really want to chat about these corners and the ways these are going to work. So let's share this with you. This is the one that I thought we would start with. I really love red, black and gold together, especially when we're talking about Valentine's Day. And I'll share with you, before I let you go, another card created on a similar idea to this one. So for this one, what we're going to do is, let's see if we can dig out some boards for our Pro Cut, because we're going to be working in our, of course, lovely Pro Cut machine. So let's see if I've got the right ones. Here we go. Let's bring in some plates. So we'll use our magnetic mat. We're going to bring in our main panel, and we're going to bring in some dies. So you know me, I store all of mine on little boards. So we're going to start off for this card using the main panel, this one here. So we're not using the outside, why do I keep calling these circles? I don't know what's wrong with me today. Not going to use the outside oval, we're not going to use a scalloped oval, we're just going to use this panel here. From there, we're going to go and we're going to pick one of the rectangles to put it inside, because we're going to be using an outside edge. So we're going to go for the second one down, and this time we're going to use the fluted rectangles. And this is just to give you an idea of how they're going to work together for you and the size options you've got. And then, because we've cut out a mirror card for the main card, we're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to bring in our mirror card, we're going to place that over the top. Now, I'm being very wasteful here, because if you turn it that way in your machine, you can, I believe, get 2 out of a plate or out of a piece of card. But equally, I should trim my card down. You all know this, I'm sure, but the more time we put under the machine, the longer it cuts, the better cut you're going to get. Now, this die does genuinely cut like a dream, so you shouldn't struggle with that, but it's always good to sort of tell you the best ways to do things. So for frugalness, cut down your card, lay it on top, send it through your machine in a landscape way, and you're going to get a really great cut. And I tell you that more because of, if you're using manual machines with any dies, sometimes that can be a little bit more tricky, can't it? So once this has gone through, we of course have all our cut work done for us. So we can remove that lovely panel from around the edge there, and we can go in and we can take these away. Now, I'm not going to clean out all of this, and I'm not even doing this really in the best way that I should be. We're going to have to do a bit of poking, aren't we? Come on, where's my roller? Oh, I have got a roller today. Should we do a bit of rolling? I feel like I should burst into song with that, but I won't. So we'll go ahead and we'll take out some of these pieces. Now, last week I didn't have a roller, and I said to you all, I've got rollers, I've got hundreds of rollers, I just don't know where they are. It was on the bottom of my trolley. I knew it was here somewhere. So all of these bits are coming out beautifully for us. There's no fear there. And we're going to give this a bit of a pull for speed, because it is a really connected design. So with some designs, you're kind of a little bit more reluctant to give them a tug because of you might damage it. This one's all really connected, so it comes away quite easily as a panel. And then you can see there, let's just get rid of them bits. Let's just, we'll hoover tomorrow. So there is our panel created. There is all our die cutting done. And then there, of course, is our debossed effect gone onto our petals. So isn't that beautiful? Whether you're going to cut that down, whether you're going to cut into that, whether you're going to use it in its entirety, it's stunning, and it's going to give you such a great effect so easily and quickly. Then from there, we would take this, and you don't want to watch me cut loads of bits, do you? But we would take the same outside edge, because we're going to marry the panels up. So I've gone off for a different edge on this one to what we're going to do on the original card. But we would take the panel, we would then pick some corners. So we would start to bring in our corners, and we're going to use just the inside bits. We're not going to use the filigree or the outside pieces, because we want these to stay as a cut-in. And we would also bring in one of our pierced or stitched lines. So there we go. We would lay that in there. When you do this, a little tip for you, try and leave a gap between your pierced line and your corner. You will just find it cuts better and easier, and you've got no fear, especially in electronic machines. Sometimes if the dies are too close together, they can move and overlap, and then you get a bit of damage to your card. So a little bit of gap will give you a much better effect. So put on your four corners, send that one through your machine, and you will end up with a panel similar in sorts to this one here. So on this one, I've used the scalloped edge, I've used the same corners, I've put in a big plain oval in the middle because we want that oval as well. And this is what I love about, and we've sort of chatted about this last week, about giving you different separate edged panels. Opens up so many different ways in which you can be creating your frames. Instead of bringing you a frame or a panel that's created like that, that's 25, 30 quid and only does that one thing, by bringing you all of these pieces individually, you can choose how you're going to layer them, how you're going to bring them together. So onto our card. Can I have a rule, please, Peter? I feel like I'm on, can I have one of the new ones? Do you want to just grab me one? There should be one in here somewhere, or there might be one in the office. But I need one because I want to give him a measurement for the card, and it's my fault I've lost it. So we'll get a roll and I'll measure the card for you in a second. So onto the card blank, we have added some gold mirror already. We're going to bring in our next layers. So we're going to go for red and black because that's what we're working with. This is our elite card stock. So we're using gladiator red and raven black, and we're going to layer them two up. And I'll give you some measurements for those in just a second as well. Then we're going to bring in our panel that we've created already. And I've cheated because I've already got my foam tape on the back of this one. So we're going to bring this one in, and we're going to lay this over the top of that panel. I'm going to place that just down there. Then we're going to bring in our filigree sort of cornered panel. And again, I've got my tape on the reverse of this one. So because we're working with the same edge, we're going to match this up perfectly and create that cool effect. If you wanted to, you could of course drop shadow this one, so you've got a slight difference to it, but I want the middle oval to match up nicely. So just bringing these in, layering them up quite nice. Size-wise, let's give you some inch sizes. The card blank is 7 inches by 9 inches. So centimetre-wise, that is going to be approximately 17.5 by 22.5-ish. Then we're going to go on to our flowers. So we want to build up these top ones. And size-wise, don't forget, I've gone for quite large corners. I've layered them into much larger layers. If you actually wanted to just take the panel and build with the panel, to give you an idea on that one, and I know we gave you the size earlier, but that's actually only 6.5 inches by approximately 4.5, 4 3/4 inches. So you've got quite a bit of excess I've put around this that you don't have to if you don't want to. So the flowers, we chatted about the boards or the dies for those earlier, didn't we? So this is actually your panel. This is going to go through and cut out in one go, and it's going to cut all of these different sizes for you. There's actually 2 different styles. You've got like a big chunky leaf, and then you've got a more filigree. I always want leaves, petals, chunky sort of petal, more filigree petal, and you've got those in 3 sizes. And we did this intentionally to give you the ability to layer up in different ways. You'll also notice that on your panel you've got different styles. So you've got that sort of wider edged petal and the thinner edged petal. So it just gives you the ability to layer and choose which ones you want to go through. When these had gone through the machine and cut out, all I did for my ones is I took a paintbrush and I've just taken each petal and gave it a little pinch just to form it, and I work all the way around. Now there's loads of different ways in which you can shape these, but this is the way I've done mine. So from there, I would then build these up, and I've done this already for speed. I've just taken lots of different sizes and put them together, and then we can start coming in and layering these on top of our gold panel. Now, a nice idea is either if you choose to match over the top of them exactly, or again, you can drop shadow them slightly so that you see that gold halo come through from underneath them. You can also, depending on what size flowers you go for, you can also sort of twist them on each layer, so you've still got the gold petal kind of poking out from underneath, and that looks kind of nice as well. Now I've got two different sizes, or actually three different sizes that we're working with here. So we've got the really large one for the middle. I'm doing the slightly larger ones as we work around these four, the sort of skinnier, larger petal, and then we're going to bring in the slightly sort of smaller, rounded petals that can go onto these ones. And as you can see, really quick, simple to layer up and create that kind of layered effect. Now you might choose to leave some of these off. You might just want to do a couple of them and add on some butterflies or some other flowers, or maybe bring in some more of the entwined leaves and build up, or maybe you want more room for your sentiment. But that's kind of where I was going with this. Now, whether you choose to keep it as a landscape or a portrait or a landscape, again, this design could go in any direction. If you want more room to put a sentiment in, I feel it works better as a landscape more than a portrait. For my one, all I did was add a ribbon around it and finished it off with a ribbon. And before I send it out, I will try my best to remember to add a ribbon around it. But that will give us sort of one card for us to give away already, because I'm conscious I want to give something away. We need to give some bits away. So then another card I wanted to share with you, made in a similar way, because I said to you earlier, there is more to this one. So this time we chose to cut and layer and sink in. So we kind of stepped down with our layers, didn't we? We've got the white frame, then we've got the gold, then we've got the black, and we're going down. With this one, we've come up. So we've come up with our layers, we've built up a scalloped pierced rectangle, then we've gone on for a scalloped rectangle, then we've gone on for the scalloped oval, then we've built up on top of that. So it's just kind of nice to have the ability to sink in or build up, depending on how you want to go with them. And then this time I've taken the Happy Valentine's banner. I've used a different outside edge. This one is the Happy Retirement edge, if I remember rightly. And I've just foam padded that up to give some depth to it, and then added loads of little gems into the middles of these flowers, which is a really cool and fun way to decorate those as well. So we'll give that first card away that we just made. Now, if you've got any questions about that one, let me know, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. Because Dawn's asked, what is the measurement for the stencil, please? The actual stencils are 8 by 8, so that's the size of the mylar, is 8 by 8, approximately. But the actual part that you're working with, of course, is about the same size as the dies, or is exactly the same size as the dies, I should say. So again, your actual main panels as such are a bit smaller. They're the same measurements I gave you a moment ago, but just roughly 4 1/4-ish by about 6 inches for your sort of oval with your flowers in it, to give you an idea. And again, you don't have to use the whole thing if you don't want to. And when we talk about the measurements of the stencils, I can't see my other bit, and I'm going to need it. So let's see if we, oh, thanks, Pete. We tell you these are 8 by 8 stencils because that's the size of the mylar, and we give you this nice big chunky edge around them, because when you're coming in with inks, especially inks, blending brushes can be a nightmare, because we don't want you going off the edges, and I don't want you always having to tape every bit down. So we give you this chunky edge to work in. So if you actually looked at the main panel and said, well, actually, what's that going to be once I've created it? What size card do I need to put that panel onto if I choose to use the corners and I keep it as a square? Then that is going to come in at just over, fractionally over 6.5 inches. So if you was to put this onto a 7 by 7 card, you'd still have a bit of wiggle room for a couple of mats and layers in there after you've actually made that main panel. Which is kind of funny, because I think that's what we're doing for our next demo. Ta-da! We're kind of on the same edge there, really. So card-wise on this one is 7.5, because I've gone for a chunkier white layer. I've also then brought in a pearl layer, a gold layer, and our original layer. So let's use this stencil, shall we? We'll add some texture paste through this one, and we'll make this card to give this one away. I think we've got time to fit in another one. So let's go for another one if you're all happy to watch a second demo. So we're going to bring the stencil in, and we're going to place that down. Now, we really should anchor this into place because that's always great to do, isn't it? But we never do it when we're doing this. So let's go in and see what we can find, because I've lost my palette knife. This is a good enough one, I think. We'll have a play with this one. I can see Kim is asking, Pete, you're going to be sacked again. You're not very good on the old comments.
My comments aren't refreshing.
Oh, don't go giving us excuses now.
Sorry, Kim.
If we have missed any comments, just ask them again and I'll try my best to spot them as we go through it. I'm going to go for a different colour, by the way, to the one that's on the card. The one that's on the card is Violet Sapphire. The one I'm working with currently is Ruby Red, just because I thought it's always nice to see different colours, isn't it, to what we're actually going to end up with. But we're going to go through this with our texture base and build this one up. But Kim's question, any tips for storing stencils? I love that they're 8x8, but they don't fit into my current storage. That's always a very good question. It's always good to be organised. I, at the moment, am keeping a lot of the stencils I use on a toast rack. I do genuinely mean this, on a toast rack. It is a little, I've got a few of them now, but little wire toast racks, and I find they're brilliant because of not only do they store my stencils separately, when I've washed them, I can then put them back on the toast rack and they dry brilliantly because they've got room to breathe. I'm also using a plate rack at the moment to store the dies on my boards from IKEA. It's like a little pine plate rack, and I store the boards in between those because I find that I can get to them quicker. If they're not ones that I'm using all of the time, why are you chuckling?
Got visions
What's funny about this?
Not that I've got the, your lovely ladies and fellas down as, thieves, but they'll be going for their little bed and breakfast getaways, and they'll be going down to breakfast in the morning. The toast racks will be disappearing.
Why do you think our people would suddenly become thieves because I've told them to use toast racks? They would come and buy them. They're genuinely lovely
the ones
people.
we inherited when we moved in.
Yes, they are ones.
All your little silver toast racks.
Yeah, so Pete's probably going to confuse a lot of you with that comment, and something I've never actually really spoke about, I don't suppose. About 2 years ago, me and Pete bought a hotel, and we are renovating it and turning it into a home. But we bought the hotel as a hotel. So when we moved in, we had lots of beds, an awful lot of showers, a lot of toast racks, a lot of crockery, a lot of bed linen, a lot of towels. And we've slowly, and we've been here now 2 years, haven't we? 2 years any day, actually. But we're slowly working around trying to renovate and turn it into a home instead of a hotel, because obviously we don't want a hotel, we want a house. But it was a great way for us to get a property the size we needed, because again, something I don't suppose I've ever really confessed or told the world about, but we can, it's not a problem, is why we wanted to purchase a hotel is so that all of our family could live throughout the different parts of the property. And now we're kind of like a cult, really. There's about 12 of us here in different places, isn't there, in different buildings and different aspects of it. But we've got everybody from my parents right the way through to my family, my nieces, my nephews. We always tell you we're a family-run business, and we are. All aspects of us are a family-run business, whether we're talking about Pete's candy shops, for instance, or our different parts of our world, or Jane Rodgers Crafts, all very family orientated. And because of that, we're literally sort of all in one place and sort of work together in many, 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 many ways to be able to bring you everything that we do with you and for you. But it all started with purchasing this hotel. So we did end up with a lot of toast racks, and that is one of the reasons I use toast racks, is because I ended up loads of them. But don't do as Pete is encouraging and go and steal them from bed and breakfasts. They've got enough problems in life as it is. Go and buy them if that's something that you
We'll
like.
settle with Dawn's suggestion. She stores hers in expanding wallets, supporting Asda's.
Supporting Asda's, yeah. So expanding wallets are fine as well.
Thievery.
Yeah, you don't have to listen to me and my toast rack idea. You have to find what works for you, don't you? So there is our lovely stenciled backing panel while we're waffling about life and what's going on in our little world. So I'll pass and toast racks. You know, when you start a live, the last thing you imagine you're going to be talking about is toast racks. But you know, that's good. That's what it's about, is answering your questions. And if we can help in any way, we'll always help. So now that we've done our stencil bit, which probably took way longer than it should have, let's go in and have a little look at what we've created. So I've done one here already, and for speed, I've gone ahead and I've cut it out. So I've used a guillotine and I've just cut round the edges. Again, you've got your flat edges for your corners, so it's really easy to take those away and create your edges. So we're going to go on to our card blank, and I measured this once, didn't I? I gave you the measurement, so I won't bore you with me doing that again. We're going to bring in some pearl card, and we're going to use our first panel of our pearl card, and we're going to build that up into the centre. We're then going to bring in our gold mirror card, and I'm using our 1mm foam tape for this. These are our giant rolls of foam tape. So you get 50 metres on a reel. So these are great because they're an inexpensive way to be able to go ahead and really go to town with building up your layers and not being too conscious with how much tape you're using. And because it's only 1mm, it doesn't end up too dear to post or go over too many layers depending on how much you're adding in. So then we're going to bring in our lovely foliage pieces. Now I've already gone ahead for speed here. I've brought in a piece of foam tape. I've actually got 4 separate pieces that I've added to our foam tape already. So I can remove the back off of that and I can bring that in and put it onto the side of my oval, just creating that sort of crescent, that sort of shape running around here. Then we're going to go on to our flower. Now this flower that we're going to add on, we've just rounded the petals using a bone folder, and I've added some gems into the middle of it. The actual one that's on the original card is done in a slightly different way. I'm sure you've all seen this before, but just in case, this is using a ball tool, here it is, and a mat, and I've just brought in each of my flowers and I've just worked over the reverse of them. And I've deliberately, instead of just rounding it and trying to take it down quite smoothly, which we can do, tried to really go in and crumple them because I wanted that texture and definition running through the petals. So our pearl card is great because it's quite a low GSM. In comparison to our elite card, it's 200 GSM. Looking to Pete there just to check, but 200 GSM, so it shapes really nicely. But it's also quite forgiving. So if we want to push down on it, we don't have to worry that we're going to rip it or damage it. But I've done that, created more of a sort of crumpled flower, which might not look too good in one layer, but when you start building them up and creating with them, that's how we got the effect that's on the finished project. And then we're going to bring in our sentiment. So for this one, we're going to use Happy Retirement, and we'll go up here, I suppose. We'll add that going off to one side, and then we're going to bring in the top panel of that, and we're going to place that over the top there. And that completes card 2 that we're going to give away for you. So this again, gemstones texture paste, stencil set, flower leaves, and or floral leaves and flower added on there, and of course our Happy Retirement. And I think that's a different bubble to the one that comes with Happy Retirement. So again, sharing with you a little bit of that interchangeability that you're going to have between the 2 sets. Do we have any questions, Peter?
I just need to refresh again. It's not happy my iPad.
I can see a question from Kim. When you said on the live last night, on the live with Janice last night, that you had a hotel, I didn't realise that was where you lived. How nice to have family close. Do you know, it's absolutely amazing. So on the live last night, I don't think I was talking about the hotel, but I was said how we operate a holiday home as well. Or a holiday flat, I don't know. What do you want to call it? Holiday flat? Holiday home? Holiday, I don't know. Basically, lots of family waffle. It was lovely being with Janice last night. I hope that was okay if you know, if any of you else tuned in. It's always very hard to know, isn't it? I was saying this, I'll be honest, because it's happened now, so I can tell you about it, or more my sort of thoughts, is, it's a strange comment. Sorry, thrown off the boil there. So last night talking to Janice, we was chatting about the different aspects of mine and Pete's world and what we get up to. And it was kind of different because of usually whenever I do a live or I'm on a show anywhere, I've got products to talk about and that I kind of hide behind them. So Janice, I was quite nervous because of all of a sudden it was just chatting about us and me and life, and yes, that was kind of different, but I really enjoyed it and it was lovely being with Janice, and I hope I get asked to go back one day because it was really enjoyable to be with them and again have a bit of a chance. I'm always conscious when I go off on tangents chatting because you probably just want to see craft stuff and not listen to my life story when we're doing this, so it's kind of nice to give you a little bit more of an insight. But yeah, me and Pete, or in in our family as a world, there's 4 candy shops, a computer shop, the craft bit, and then this sort of holiday let that we kind of have and let out. So the hotel's kind of different because it's now just home really, and it sounds very dramatic, and it's not like, you know, it's just a little. But it was a way that we could get a big enough property to really bring everybody in. Somebody once told me it's what they do in, I think it was Japan. Is it Japan I'm thinking of? Where they, all of the family live together, and then as you get older, you move down a level, and the younger ones move up levels. I think I'm getting this right. I'm probably completely wrong, so sorry if I am. But they basically all live in one property, and then as older goes down, younger goes up, and it's a way that everyone's in one building to look after each other, and you know, nobody's lonely and everyone's got company, and yeah, so as a family, kind of a similar idea in a way, but it brought us all together. We're only a little family as such, and it was a lovely way to all be together and work together and have a good time. You're never lonely. You want to go to Tesco's at midnight, somebody's always around, and that's kind of cool. So then, should we do a third demo? Just because I'm conscious that I've waffled lots and we haven't really done a lot, and I haven't shown you the lattice. I really need to pronounce that less common, I suppose. Lattice? I don't know. So this is the one that we're going to do this time, but we're going to bring in some different colours because I thought that would be fun to show you. And I say I thought that would be fun. Again, chatting about family and life and that. You all know this now, I'm sure, but my parents make all of my kits for me. They were brilliant at doing all of the kits, and they make every kit that you see, whether it's on a live, on a show, on anything. They always do the kits for me. And every now and again, they go off on different colour tangents. And I always think it's really lovely to be able to share with you different colours and show you different ideas. So this is the one that we're going to do. We're going to do it quite quickly because it's kind of self-explanatory, but it'll be fun to bring it together and share with you. So card size wise, let's have a little look. We are looking at an 8.5 inch card by 6.5 inch card, and then we're going to build up from here. So we've gone for Gladiator Red, Pearl card, and then we're going to bring in some of our Night Sky Navy, one of my favourite colours. Now for this panel, we have already gone ahead and we have cut this with the decal edged rectangles. I've not used any pierced or stitched edges on this one. I just wanted a plain edge on this because similar to what we did with the very first demo, we're going to bring in that layer and add on top. So just like we spoke about earlier, filigree corners, stitched edge line, decal edge line, so that we end up with this sort of filigree panel. And we're going to bring in our 1mm foam tape again, and we've already added that to the reverse of this, so we can go ahead and build this one up. So onto here we'll go again, and we're very much back into a similar position in a sense to where we were with card number 1, but of course card number 1 we cut out the middle so we could sort of sink into the centre of it. This time again we're going to build up on top of it instead of sink through the middle. So bringing in our ovals, we're going to use this time the decal edge oval with the stitch line. So matching in again with the stitch line that's found within our decal edge rectangles. And this is why it's important that we keep bringing you different shapes to work with and giving you the options to create that uniform element between the different panels. To me, that's really essential. Gives your cards a luxury finish without really actually having to do any more hard work than just sending your die through, but yet you've got the ability to do that between all of the different shapes. Then we're going to bring in one of our flat edged ovals or plain edged ovals. I'm going to add that on the top there. And then for this one, so don't forget with your lattice, this one comes with a postage edge to it, but I've gone ahead and I've added in a stitch line and the decal edge line, so I've got a wider edge. And this is cool because it gives me room to put some foam tape onto the back of it. So I've brought in some foam tape and I've trimmed that down, and I'm just going to wrap that all the way around the side here so that we can then bring that in and place it on top. So we're not only going to see the Night Sky Navy coming through from under the lattice, we're also going to see it coming through from around the edge because this one's slightly smaller. We're then going to go for our flowers. Now these ones again are quite large ones, and this time what I've done with these is I've gone for a wider paintbrush, a bigger paintbrush, and each petal, a bit like we did with the earlier ones, we're just going to bring these in and we're going to squidge it around the edge of the bigger paintbrush so that we've got more of a nice rounded finish to them. Now you can do these with tweezers, and again this is something I show you quite a lot probably, but shaping these with tweezers can be really good fun, and that can be lots of different options. When you've got this debossed line in here, that's going to make it really easy for you to go along and add in a crimple by just working back and forth. You can also take your tweezers and you can just bend up around it. And that's going to give you more of a V and like a boxed finish to it than if you do the paintbrush one, because the paintbrush one's going to give you that nice U. Of course, with both of them ideas, you can also take them down as well. And if you take them down, you end up with this really cool sort of box effect. Or again, with your paintbrush, you can take that and you can bend that back on itself, and you're going to end up with more of a sort of dome than a U. So just flipping and flapping between them can work really nicely. We're then going to bring in our leaves again, and we'll just again for speed, I've added the foam tape onto this. So we're going to take the foam tape off the back of it, and we're going to add that going around the oval once again. And then we're going to bring in a couple of flowers I've already done, put some foam tape on the back of those, and we're going to add these over the top of them. So we've just got these tiny little red bits creeping out from underneath. These, I feel, these foliage pieces, they're going to go with every set of flowers you've got, aren't they? You know, whether it's our flowers or any flowers you've got in your collection, that's just going to work. So with our arrow, so this is the Happy Valentine's arrow, I'm going to choose to just post that kind of underneath the edge of the petals there. We could have gone the other way, we could have gone diagonally, we could have gone for a different panel, but actually I really like this one, so we're going to bring that in and we're going to post that just under there, just to give you a little bit of a hint. And that completes our third demo. So if you haven't already, while we're saying goodbye to you all this evening and sort of checking on if you've got any other questions, which if you have, pop them in the comments now. But these are the free cards that we have created that we're going to give away for you. So if you haven't already, let us know in the comments what your favourite biscuit is, and we will pick one lucky winner to win these free cards. And I say we, I'm going to get Pete to do it, because it's always fair if Pete does it, because it's kind of outside my remit then, isn't it? So, have we missed any comments or questions that I need to answer, Pete, before we leave these lovely people in peace?
Don't think so. Apologies if we have.
So I can see Judy says, great demos. Thank you, Judy. And what a lovely idea of a hotel. So yeah, being honest with you, so we live in a seaside town. Why we're just waiting to see if there's any other questions. We live in a seaside town, and like a lot of seaside towns, the big boys have moved in. So we've got a Premier Inn and we've got a Travel Lodge, or whatever they are, something along them lines. And they've sort of built up here more recently. And hotels, of course, like every time a supermarket opens, the butcher's shut. Big hotels come into a town, little hotels shut, don't they? It's common sense. So a lot of hotels have gone up for sale around us recently, and in a lot of seaside towns around the UK, you know, tourism is going more abroad, and then the big boys are coming into play. So yeah, lots of hotels are available to purchase. So it was kind of a great timing for us to be able to do that as a family, and took a lot of work. If anyone's watching this thinking that's a great idea, I'm going to go and do that tomorrow, be prepared, it's a lot of work. We had to write a lot of letters and beg the council to allow us change of use, and then mortgages were very tricky because of we had to sort of buy it as a hotel but then convert it to a household mortgage, and the mortgage people were great fun because they had to get rid of, because every room had a bathroom, because obviously that's what you kind of want with a B&B, and we had to go through and take out lots of bathrooms before the mortgage could go through in different stages, because we had to prove to them that we weren't trying to buy it as a household property but use it as a commercial use. So we had to prove to them that we were sort of destroying the commerciality of the product, so that we couldn't possibly do that. So yeah, it was a year of fun, but the end result is well worth it, and we're really happy. And we've got a lot of work, and me and Pete aren't the best at DIY, but we've got a lot of work to do. But it's been a really fun couple of years, and it'll probably take us till we retire to work through and make everybody okay and everybody happy and everyone sorted. But between us as a family, but in separate sections, it's been lovely to sort of bring everybody together and kind of put us all in one place. But just in case, because I'm waffling about this more than I probably should, everyone's got their own front doors, everyone's got their own space, everyone's cut off if they want to be, but if they want to be together, if they want to go to Tesco's at midnight, there's somebody about to do it. So yeah, we're really lucky. We're very, very lucky.
There is one question, but
Go
I
on.
feel that I will be told off as much as you
Come
should
on,
be
then.
told off.
What we've been told off
Kim's
for?
asked what our favourite biscuits are, but that's, you know, obviously an important one. But she's asked, will there be any masculine collections coming up?
Oh, Kim, you can't do this to me because I'm not allowed to tell you things. I've already been scowled at
I think we
once.
said enough.
Honestly, but yeah, no, you're allowed to ask what you want, and you know us, we're an open book, and I can't tell you too much. But January is a good month, I hear, for masculine collections, so maybe January, but you know, we'll see. But yeah, you know us, there's always more around the corner, and I can't tell you any more than that. But yeah, January is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun month. But this,
sorry, I was just going to give a reminder of your new group that you set up, and when and where will this live be available? April was asking.
This live, so
Sorry.
after no, that's fine. So this live, after it ends, I believe pretty instantly it's published on Facebook, as long as they don't hold it to ransom, which they did once, but they've only done it once, so you'll be able to watch it from there. And then tomorrow, lovely Zoe, who does a lot of our techie work, because I'm pretty useless with techie stuff, she will put it up on the YouTube channel for you. So if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go and do so. And then that way you'll get notified of when it's gone live. But it's usually at some point the day after that she puts them up live for you, so that if you like to watch on YouTube, you can watch them on there as well. And then Kim's question about our favourite biscuits. I'm a terrible one for biscuits. Biscuits are my weakness. I've always said if biscuits weren't invented, I would have always been skinny, because they are where 99% of the calories I've eaten come from. And that depends on what's going on. Chocolate digestives, probably. If I had to pick just one, chocolate digestives. Come on, Pete.
Oh, shortbread. Love
Shortbread. Now, are we talking
good
M&S
shortbread.
shortbread?
Oh yeah, I do like an M&S.
And are we
shortbread.
talking M&S shortbread that's been dipped in chocolate, or just M&S shortbread on its own?
Or the little fingers with the raspberry jam cream in them.
Oh yeah, Pete loves them. I'm not a big fan of them, but yeah, M&S.
I buy them because you don't eat them.
Yeah, he does. That is actually the truth. If they're
protected.
biscuits I eat, they disappear.
Everything else.
So if he buys biscuits I don't eat, that's probably a safer idea. So I see somebody asked, what is the size of the largest oval? So just before we go, let's answer that for you. And don't let me forget to pick a winner. So the largest oval, let me get to the relevant packet, which I seem to have lost, Mary, is this one. So the plain ovals are the very largest. And on this one, it's officially 6 inches by 8 inches in centimetres. That is 15.2 by 20.3. They come down slightly from that point when we go on to the other ones. So to give you an idea, the scalloped one, for instance, is 5.8 by 7.8, which is 14.9 by 19.8, if that helps. And then Kim dear, apart from the lattice, will there be... Oh, no, that's the question we answered. Yes, yeah, I can't go back to that because I'll get in trouble. Is there any other bits that we haven't answered, Pete, before we leave these lovely pigs in peace? Okay, then come on then, boy, let's have a winner. Who is our winner of these 3 cards?
It is a lovely Pippa Tisdall.
Oh, congratulations, right. Pippa. That is lovely. If you could please pop over in a message to the page, or to me personally, whatever you find easier, your address, and if you would like them signed, or if you'd like one of them signed or none of them signed, whatever you wish, just let us know and we will do that for you, and we will pop them in the post for you as soon as we possibly can to get them out to you. But thank you all for taking part with our daft question this evening. It's genuinely lovely to see you all chatting away and interacting with us and being with us, to be honest. We don't take that for granted at all. And I hope you've enjoyed this evening's little look through. And if you do come up with any questions later, then let me know and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Of course, we will be on Highlight Crafts on Tuesday at 9 AM and 10 AM with this collection, and it will be exclusive to them at Highlight Crafts on Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you would like to get hold of it, that's the place to grab it. Then on Thursday, it will become available to our stockists so that you know what's coming up in the next few days. Thank you all very much. I think we've covered everything we need to, haven't we, Peter?
We have. We never mentioned Pippa's favourite biscuits, but they were Jamie Dodgers.
Oh, Jamie Dodgers. Oh, I love a Jamie Dodger. Love a Jamie Dodger too. Yeah, there's not many biscuits I don't go for, to be honest, is there? But your raspberry ones do get left safe. Okay, we've waffled enough. Let's leave you all in peace. Thank you again for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it, but genuinely from both of us, thank you. I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday on Highlight Crafts. I'll see you then if I don't see you before. Thanks a lot for joining us. Bye for now all. Keep well. You didn't say good night, Pete. You might still be able to.
Bye.
Bye. We're still here. Bye. Bye from the end.